Global downturn in tourism? Not in Asia.
There will be kind of deals and promotions available because that is what increasingly consumers are looking for.
And later on the Fast Track Travel Clinic, the free vacation that proves very costly.
And join me as I'll be experiencing Berlin's latest underground attraction.
And behind the death strip was still lying in the underground Hitler's bunker.
Now, one thing I've noticed in my recent travels is the explosion of tourism across Asia, from Beijing to Bali. And it seems that Asia may be the answer to the current global downturn in tourism. Last year, more than 200 million people flocked to the region, and it's forecast that in 2011 that figure will grow. Carmen Roberts now reports from Singapore.
Tuesday morning in the budget terminal at Singapore's Changi Airport is buzzing. Low cost is where it's at. This is a market that's mushrooming in Asia and said to be the main thrust behind last year's tourism growth rate of 14%, twice the global average.
The people tend to travel with a low-cost carrier, Air Asia, Sikh Air, also there is Tiger Air. There's many Jetstar even. They're flying in ASEAN. They're flying in Asia. And also connected with Australia. That's everybody can fly.
In just 9 years, low-cost market leader Air Asia now boasts 100 planes, carrying 33 million passengers a year. And as you'd expect, Tony Fernandez says Asia is the place to be.
You'd be mad if you want to drive from KL to Bangkok. And completely out of your brains if you want to take a boat from Kuala Lumpur to Jakarta or Manila. You just won't do that. So geography works in our advantage as well. And geography makes air travel the only logical way to grow.
Air Asia is the only low-cost airline to fly into Japan, but still Fernandez is bullish, hoping for more flights to the capital as well as new destinations within the country.
Before the earthquakes and tsunami in Japan, Asia was tipped to lead the global tourism growth in 2011. But nevertheless, tourism leaders here say they're confident that countries like China and India will pick up the slack.
We have a major focus, of course, on China. And we have some exciting new opportunities and new hotels opening in India. And in particular, and in fact, right across Asia, Thailand. In the last 3 months, we've just opened three Novotels, one every month for the last 3 months, in Bangkok alone.
Tourism is just booming or very much upbeat in Asia. I mean, you're talking of China as a destination. I think there's so much to be explored. A lot of people have been to Singapore, but they're coming back. Why? Because there's just so much to see, again, because of what they have done. Same thing in Malaysia and the Philippines.
The number of Japanese tourists has actually been falling on average, 17.5 million tourists last year. By comparison, 48 million Chinese tourists left home in 2010, 5 times more than a decade ago, with Hong Kong or Macau the top of the list.
I think from our point of view, at this moment, we are stepping up promotions to other parts of the world, such as Australia, Europe, China and Southeast Asia countries, which will make up for the shortfall for outbound travel to Japan, which is about 25% of our overall sales revenue.
This travel agent is busy with holidaymakers looking for a good deal, and more often than not, it's closer to home.
Asia is where the boom is happening. Asia is where the business is taking place in terms of, from the economies, in terms of the tourism influx. And also within Asia, there's a lot of development. A lot of people are traveling this inter-regional travel.
In terms of arrival from the regional market, Now it's accounted for about 60%. And of course, arrival from China ever increasing every year. Now we record about over 1 million visitors from China, and also from ASEAN countries like the Philippines, in Indonesia, Malaysia, Singapore. The economy is strong, and traveling to Thailand is easier for them.
And while tourism is booming here, so are the hotel prices.
Places like Hong Kong saw prices increase 27% in dollar terms between 2009 and 2010. The average price of a room in Hong Kong last year was about $169. Singapore is one of the largest, the sort of highest price rises anywhere. Prices in Singapore grew 33% to about $196. And that really reflects not just a boom in sort of business travel for Southeast Asia, but also the big developments like the Marina Bay development, big 5-star development, coming through and really pushing average prices up.
So I guess what all you savvy travellers out there will be wondering is, with all these hotel prices rising in Asia, is it still possible to bag a bargain holiday here?
Asia still have a lot of appeal to the Europeans and Americans, especially when it comes to the winter season. I think the beach resorts, the sunny weather, the sand, sea and sun is still an irresistible appeal to the Westerners. I think if you were to avoid certain peak season period, I think there will still be a time when the hotels will still offer very tactical promotions.
Bangkok's probably the cheapest major city in Asia to get a hotel room in now, and it's certainly the cheapest place to get a 5-star hotel room. So that is one place where deals are pretty good. And the second thing I'd say is hoteliers are still very aware that consumers have become more sort of deal sensitive, and that's really a function of the internet. Even busy hotels know that if they are going through an off-peak period, or if demand is slightly slack outside of the main holiday, there will be kind of deals and promotions available, because that is what increasingly consumers are looking for.
As for the hot and up-and-coming destinations, I'd say the Philippines, with Air Asia making Manila a hub by the end of the year, while picturesque destinations like Hangzhou and Guilin in China will also see a rise in tourists thanks to low-cost carriers. But if you want a luxury break at bargain prices, India and Thailand are still your best bet.
Carmen Roberts there, reporting from Singapore. And as ever, we'd like to hear your views on this. Are you planning to travel somewhere in Asia this year? And if so, why? Price? Culture? Adventure? Let us know at fasttracktravel@bbc.co.uk. One person who emailed us recently was Teresa Clark. The issue of tourism in the Middle East struck a nerve with her and many others living in the region. Unrest and civil strife sweep through the Middle East. A hit on tourism is inevitably the collateral damage. Teresa Clark got in touch to say,
I've been living in Luxor for the past 3 years and was here all through the revolution. I would like to reassure everyone that Luxor was calm and safe the whole time, and that I have always felt safer here than anywhere else in the world.
Eugene Dwight in Cairo, however, didn't share her view.
Since the revolution, it's not safe to walk in the streets after sundown. Tour companies and people involved in tourism are all anxious to say Egypt is now safe. It'll probably be months before the country returns to a relatively safe level.
While our report on airports of the future prompted Kevin Egan in Canada to question whether airports located in the middle of a city were the best solution in terms of the environment.
The future belongs to the Aerotropolis, the city created with an airport at its heart, not at its edges.
My own feeling is that trains are much more capable of carrying passengers more cleanly, especially for town-to-town journeys over short distances.
And if you do have thoughts on any of the stories that we've covered, do get in touch. We do love hearing from you. Time now to see what else is making news in the world of travel this week.
A sleeping air controller has been blamed for forcing a medical plane to land without clearance at Reno Tahoe in Nevada. It's the fourth time this year a US controller has been caught asleep on duty. The head of the US air traffic system has since resigned, and federal officials say they're conducting a review into the entire operation. The ancient city of Pompeii will undergo a major restoration project. It follows the collapse of a house and wall at the historical site on Italy's west coast, which caused concern around the world. The country's culture minister called the damage a national emergency and says repair work will begin immediately. Retired space shuttles will soon be on display at tourist destinations in Florida, California and Virginia. The shuttles are being taken out of service as NASA plans to develop a new fleet that can travel deeper into space.
The retirement of the shuttle fleet should not be seen as an end. It represents the next step in extending humanity's reach further into space.
And tourists armed with water pistols and buckets have flown into Bangkok to join locals in the world's biggest street water fight. The 3-day Songkran festival celebrates the beginning of the Buddhist New Year.
I feel so good. I've never expected it to be so fun here in Thailand, and I wasn't even expecting this to be like a world record. So I've never seen anything like that in my life. So fun. We love it. Thailand, cheer more.
Stay with us, because coming up after the break, Simon Calder's here to answer some more of your questions in his regular travel clinic, and we go to Berlin to meet a man who's got a passion for going underground.
If you don't know your history, you're damned to repeat it.